Former industrial areas. Walk 19, Poulter Country Park. Thursday the 19th of January 2012, and no names and I are at it again. That is going wandering around former industrial areas, but this time we're off to see Poulter Country Park, on the once location of Langwith Colliery. Yesterday we had a go at Shirebrook Wood, so why not try another one in the area? And this is merely a few miles from Shirebrook Wood. The car park for Poulter Country Park also doubles as the car park for users of the railway station at Langwith on the Robin Hood line between Nottingham and Worksop. We came across the same line only yesterday on our tour of Shirebrook Wood. About midday sees me parking the Trekkmobile in the Langwith railway station car park, or should that be the Poulter Country Park car park. Hop out of the car, lock up, and off we go along the footpath for a few hundred yards to meet the entrance of the park. A Derbyshire County Council standard blue sign confirms our location and the fact that the park is maintained by the council as opposed to the Forestry Commission who look after the site of yesterday's walk. Also, a map of the park shows us our current location with a typical "You are here" prompt. And although I see no confirmation whatsoever, I am fully aware that the archaeological way passes through this particular country park on its route between Plesley Vale and Whitwell, some 13 miles distant. As usual, no names and I are going clockwise around the site on our little journey of discovery. The pathway is solid and appears to be recently newly surfaced. And within 10 minutes, after a gradual easy climb followed by a slight descent, we find ourselves at another car park alongside Whaley Road, a minor lane passing between Whaley and Nether Langwith, an area I am most familiar with as I used to live in the village of Clown about 5 miles away and spent many a happy day cycling around these quiet country lanes. A few small ponds lie to the west of this car park, with the main path running alongside them, so we set off along this path with the ponds to our left to continue on our circular route. Whilst passing the second pond, I've noticed the largest dragonfly I have ever seen. Not real, but a large metal sculpture obviously depicting one of the common wildlife inhabitants of the ponds. After the second pond, the area to our left has become more a marshland than a pond, and a couple of old water control features confirm that the water levels in this series of ponds were once controlled manually to a certain extent. These water control gates are no longer in use, but my vivid imagination has drifted off into the past and can picture them in operation. The path alongside the ponds and onward to and beyond where it veers right to climb uphill onto the site high point is not as well surfaced as the main path from the railway station car park to the one alongside the lane and ponds, and is quite muddy and uneven in places. So obviously not the whole of Poulter Country Park is suitable for wheelchair use, although some plant machinery in the pond car park makes me think that improvements to the pathway are in progress. To the right of the path, obvious signs of the park's coal mining history are evident, as the black spoil is still showing prominently in some places, but over time nature will hide it from view. Soon the path veers to the right and climbs uphill to the site summit, and along a short path to the left of this right turn we find another small car park alongside the Whaley Nether Langwith lane that I was already familiar with, and at least the entrance to this car park confirms access to the archaeological way. I know I haven't mentioned no names for a while, but don't worry, he's still with me, and proceeds to go about his own brand of exploration with the occasional mad session when he gets some space to run about in. Although unsuitable for disabled use, the path to the summit of Poulter Country Park proves nevertheless to be most worthwhile, as we are now among 4 benches looking out in different directions over the surrounding countryside. A good place to sit and while away a few moments in peace and tranquility, whilst gazing in awe at the green and pleasant lands surrounding the area. I can see for miles from here, and purposely have a good 360-degree look around as I pick out many familiar landmarks. A quick break ensues as it is rather cold. We are in January after all, so a quick cuppa, a bag of crisps, a cigarette, and then I take some photographs. Although using the compact camera with gloves on comes with its little challenges. Time to move on. We descend one of the many paths that slope off from the summit in various directions, whilst trying to keep in a generally circular route around the park. We have passed through lots of grassland areas and a few smaller woodland areas to find ourselves on the track above and alongside the main Robin Hood railway line once again. which is below our current location with only a steep bank and primarily silver birch woods between us and the railway. However, it appears that the track we are now walking along used to be a railway at some point in the past. Although now muddy and soft surfaced in places, evidence of a once railway are still here. Soon the constructions of the current Langworth station have come into view ahead of us, and a slight detour off to the right provides access to another of the many unsurfaced paths around Poulter Country Park, to bring no names and die in minutes back to the original path we first took when arriving here. A quick stint down this path has brought us back onto the bridge over the mainline railway alongside Langworth station, and we cross the bridge back to the awaiting Trekkmobile for our journey home to our cuppers and photo viewing session. To summarise, Poulter Country Park is another fine example of land reclamation activity and provides a most pleasant, now countryside area to explore at your leisure, but like most would be best suited to a half day out during the warmer months.